Task Force 141 is assigned with the task of conducting airstrikes somewhere in the Middle East on Al-Qatala, a Russian-backed Iranian terrorist organization. In the aftermath of the American missile attacks on one of the AQ installments, Iranian General Ghobrani is assassinated. Several months go by, the CIA chief Laswell enters the office of General Shepard of the U.S. Army. She informs him that Major Hassan is operating against the U.S. after the death of General Ghobrani, and then she reveals that Major Hassan is currently out of Iran, so this might be a good time for them to get Major Hassan. General Shepard orders her to prepare an assault against Hassan after Laswell informs him that he is currently in the city of Al-Mazrah. Lieutenant Ghost and Sergeant Soap are assigned to lead a team of Marines and capture or kill Major Hassan in a village near Al-Mazrah. Laswell warns them that he is guarded by AQ and the Marines must be prepared to take on a fight, but to their surprise, Hassan has already fled the area. Instead of capturing Hassan, the Marines discover American missiles stored in one of AQ's warehouses. General Shepard is outraged to learn that AQ could smuggle American missiles into Iran. He orders the Marines to destroy the missiles, but Laswell insists to use them for intel and she assigns Captain Price in Amsterdam to do reconnaissance against Al-Qatala, as the city of Amsterdam is a global smuggling hub. At night in Amsterdam, Captain Price along with his assistant Gaz sneak up on one of the Al-Qatala's boat and manage to discover their docks where they are unloading cargo. Upon breaking into their hideout, Price discovers that Iran is using a Mexican cartel by the name of Las Almas to smuggle cargo. Through a phone of one of the dead cartel guards, Price finds out that the cartel is having a meeting with an Iranian representative in the morning and informs Laswell about it. The next morning Laswell arrives in Amsterdam to assist Price and Gaz in their mission to abduct the cartel member. They manage to successfully nab him and upon investigating, they learn that Hassan is currently sheltered in Mexico by the cartel, which is planning to smuggle him into the U.S. through the border. Laswell asks Mexican Special Forces officer, Colonel Alejandro for his assistance in arresting Hassan at the U.S.-Mexico border. Alejandro with his partner Major Rodolfo attempts to stop Hassan from crossing the border but fail. They chase after Hassan by crossing the border and as they are being questioned by the local police, they get attacked by the cartel. Rodolfo and Alejandro manage to survive and go after the cartel. Rodolfo infiltrates the building and he is attacked by Hassan, who escapes after burning the room and leaving Rodolfo to die. Alejandro manages to save Rodolfo from the fire. On the other hand, Laswell learns that Hassan is smuggling big cargoes in the US and she fears that it might be missiles which Hassan intend to use on the American soil. She assigns Soap and goes to work with the Mexican Special Forces to capture Hassan. They are also provided the surveillance support of Shadow Company. The Mexican Special Forces along with Ghost and Soap manage to capture Major Hassan. On their way to exfiltration, they are ambushed by the cartel, but with the help of Shadow's company's air support, the ground forces manage to escape with Hassan in a helicopter. Hassan is taken to deserted land, where Operative Graves from the Shadow Company confronts him about his objectives. Major Hassan denies their claims and instead accuses the Americans of warmongering. Laswell realizes that holding an official military officer of another country is an act of war and suggests that they let him go in order to avoid any political problems. Before releasing Hassan, she hacks his phone and traces his calls back to Spain where he was in touch with someone regarding the smuggling of the missiles. After this, Laswell travels to a coast of an island in Spain with Price and Gaz. She stays at a boat in the ocean while Gaz and Price infiltrate the area and search for possible clues. They come across a tunnel dug by the cartel and soon Laswell informs them that she is in trouble as some of AQ's boats are moving towards her boat with armed personnel. Al-Qatala abducts Laswell and Price, and Gaz decides to go after her. On the other hand, Al-Qatala sends them a footage of Laswell held as a hostage in a car. The CIA identifies their location in Urzitan. Upon learning this, Price and Gaz immediately get on a helicopter and head for Urzitan. There, Price teams up with his old allies Farah and Nikolai, which are also enemies of Al-Qatala. After an intense chase, they manage to rescue Laswell. Once rescued, Laswell reveals that the missiles were never in Spain but the guidance systems were, which are already installed on the missiles. She believes that only person can get the guidance systems from the Russians is Sin Nombre, the leader of the Las Almas cartel. Meanwhile, to identify their leader El Sin Nombre, Graves, Ghosts, Alejandro and Soap infiltrate a Las Almas meeting, where all the VIP cartel members will be invited. Graves suggests that one of them go in straight in the meeting and confronts the leader to lure him out, so they can arrest him. Soap volunteers and enters the meeting as a hostage. On the other hand, Ghost keeps overwatch and Alejandro sneaks in as one of the guards. He hands Soap over to Diego, one of the cartel heads and the house owner. He takes her to Valeria, another cartel leader who is seen interrogating a bunch of Mexican army officers to find out who attacked the cartel when they were protecting Major Hassan. Soap reveals that it was the Mexican Special Forces and the Shadow Company. Valeria keeps Soap alive, and tells him Sin Nombre will be waiting to meet him on the third floor of the house. After this, Soap is handed back over to Alejandro, who is in the disguise of a guard. Soap informs Alejandro that Sin Nombre will be on the third floor of the house, so they make their way to the third floor in search of Sin Nombre, and upon reaching the leader's room, they find out that Valeria is Sin Nombre, revealed to be Alejandro's former teammate. Valeria makes a deal with Shadow Company by revealing the location of the missiles. A raid led by Ghost, Shadow Company Commander Philip Graves, Soap, and Alejandro has the joint task force assault an abandoned oil derrick and cargo tanker to prevent a missile launch. Despite the successful mission, Graves and Shadow Company betray Vargas and Task Force 141 by taking over the former's base of operations and detaining his men under Shepard's order. Soap gets shot by Graves but manages to escape on a separate route from Ghost. They both decide to meet up at a church. Wounded, Soap makes his way to the church where he unites with Ghost and they both escape the area on a mini-truck. They return to Alejandro's safe house where they meet with Rodolfo. The three of them decide to infiltrate Graves' prison to help free Alejandro and his men. At the prison site, Soap takes control over the control center and finds out that Alejandro is kept in a cell. The team eventually makes its way to the prison cells and frees Alejandro and his men. While escaping, they are assisted by Captain Price and Gaz. Once everyone successfully escapes the prison, Captain Price reveals that Laswell has uncovered the truth about the missiles and General Shepard. It is revealed that there is one more missile whose location is still unknown. Turns out that General Shepard was moving missiles illegally to American allies in the Middle East, so they can use the missiles against the Russians. He assigned this mission to Grave and his Shadow team. While on their way, they are attacked by the Russians, who found out about the illegal movement of missiles against them. They kill the entire convoy team and retrieve the missiles, which they hand over to Major Hassan so he can use them against the United States of America. General Shepard and Graves tried to hide this failure, so they don't have to be held accountable for their illegal failed mission. Back at the safe house, Captain Price confronts General Shepard about the missiles through a video call. The general seems to not accept his mistake, and claims that he did what was best for his country, and he still stands by Graves' action to take Alejandro and his men prisoners. Price warns the general to correct his ways, otherwise he would have to come after him once he has taken care of Graves. The next day, the team decides to gear up and go against Graves to kill him, and rescue Valeria to find out where the third missile is. The team divides in two groups, with one group escorting Price and Pilot to an airstrip, where they will hijack an attack helicopter to infiltrate the HQ through air, and the other team will break in the HQ on ground. Alejandro and Gaz successfully put Price and Pilot in an attack helicopter and then make their way on ground towards the HQ. On the other hand, Rodolfo, Ghost and Soap break in the HQ from the other side. Eventually they face Graves, who brought a tank to the fight and shoots down Price's helicopter with it. Soap and Rodolfo manages to explode Graves' tank and kills him. Meanwhile, Ghost saves Captain Price and the pilot. After this they make rescue Valeria, who informs them that the third missile is already in Chicago with Hassan. The team arrests Valeria and immediately plans to move towards Chicago in order to stop Hassan from using the missile. They learn that Hassan is hiding on the 54th floor of a building owned by the cartel. Laswell makes her way to the site on a car, while Gaz and Alejandro moves towards the building on a boat. Ghost is providing surveillance to the team from a nearby building. As Price and Soap lands on top of the building and infiltrate it. As they make their way through the building, they reach Hassan's room. Before they can breach it, Hassan escapes with the missile's controls through an explosion. This injures Captain Price, and Gaz and Soap continue their chase for Hassan. He tries to escape through an elevator. Soap jumps off the parallel elevator and lands on top of Hassan, and snatches the missile's controls. In the process, Soap loses his weapons. Laswell informs him that the missile has been detonated and it's moving towards the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Soap believes that Hassan must have wanted to kill General Shepard with the missile attack, but Laswell informs him that Shepard has already gone in hiding and no one knows about his whereabouts. She then tells Soap that he must deactivate it through the controls. As the AQ guards are searching for Soap on the floor, it's extremely difficult for him to find the perfect cover to deactivate the missile. Somehow he manages to do it and the missile detonates in the sky before it reaches the Pentagon. Once the missile is taken care of, Soap must find a way to escape the building, but he cannot do it with Hassan and all the Al-Qatala guards crawling around him. He decides to craft a weapon with the help of a paper cutter and scrap materials. As he kills the last of the AQ guards, he is attacked by Hassan, who knocks him out and drags him to throw him off the window. Soap communicates to Ghost for help, who is standing in the building across the window with a sniper. Luckily, Ghost manages to get a shot on Hassan before he could throw Soap off the building, and save Soap. In the final scenes of the video game, the team is seen celebrating in a bar. Captain Price asks Laswell about General Shepard's whereabouts and she informs him that he has disappeared. She then reveals that she found out that the Russians which attacked the Shepard's missile-carrying convoy was not the Russian army, but a group of ultra-nationalists which are working under an unknown man. As she hands over the man's picture to Price, he identifies him in a heartbeat and we learn that the Russian attackers were the men of Vladimir Makarov. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe for more epic videos. We will see you at the next one.